Hey, what's up? Kevlin here. And fun fact, it's this YouTube channel's 15th anniversary. So thank you to everyone who's stopped by and left comments, likes, and of course, subscriptions. I don't think I'd still be doing videos if it weren't for you guys, so thank you again. Not so fun fact, I lost count of the Q&A videos. My documents say this should be the 5th one, but my playlists say this is the 6th. So somebody's bad at math. Anyways, I've left some posts for this Q&A, and y'all definitely left some good ones, so let's get started. Alright, so let's start with, I think we might have actually had some from last year, so 404 KJ Not Found asks, maybe we can start off on a Fire Emblem question then. What do you think the best, worst recruitment requirements are or were for characters that require more than talking to or auto-joined? And what sort of recruitment methods would you want to see in another game? Conversely, what do you think is the best worst instance are for characters leaving? I can't think of any besides the K support rank right now, but I'm sure there's had to have been more. Haha. Okay, let's break this down. What do you think is the best and worst recruitment requirements for characters required for more than talk? I don't like where you need to have a specific unit already. Like, not even like in Fates where you have to have the original parent, like have Jacob talk to Dwyer. Like, it's kind of annoying, but that one makes sense. What I don't like is, I think it was in Radiant Dawn, where you had this little girl, Laura or whatever, and you needed her in order to have her talk to someone and have him join you, because other than that, I don't think he would. My biggest problem with that, because logically in-game, in world, it makes sense. You don't really want to join an army where you might get treated like a pincushion if you don't either believe in the cause or know someone. But the problem is with these characters is I literally lost her almost every single time. Do you know how many resets I had to do to keep that girl alive? And it wasn't worth it because I literally lost both of them like 2 chapters later. It's just not worth it. So keeping a useless character around only to get another useless character with no payoff and not even have the character be fun or amusing or have some quirk that I like, it's not worth it. Also having to pay certain characters off, which is annoying. Like, unless they are a mercenary, it makes sense. But, like, why am I paying some random person or standing on a certain square on a certain time? You better be worth at least 2 people's worth of work, because that wasn't worth it to lose that many people. So I don't like those. Those are really annoying. The best ones, I would say probably, like, proving your skill or strength. Like, oh, I'll join your army if you're good at this or something. So kind of like an Awakening when you were recruiting Donald, you had to have him level up. So maybe something like you start a chapter and the character isn't like, oh, you guys look like you're part of the army or whatever. That looks really cool. Can I join? And then it's like, sure. But instead of having this random NPC join and probably die, you could have your character or a character like, oh, the new NPC you're talking to is a dagger user. So if you have any dagger users, if you have them level up or gain a skill or some kind of weapon efficiency, like, prove to the new NPC that you're worth working with and that you do pay attention to dagger units or whatever they're interested in, kind of like the recruitment methods in Three Houses. I feel like that would make more sense. Another funny one, what game was it? Where you just go up to someone, it's like, hey, you want to join? And he's like, yeah, I'm tired of being green anyways, or something like that. What do you think is the worst instance for characters leaving? I think, again, I don't mind unpredictability necessarily, but I think, let's just say, like, Kay's, if you don't reach a certain rank with him, he dies, which, again, death is unpredictable. But I think if characters leave, I think it would be nice to, like, again, if you pay a mercenary to join you, and if you don't upkeep with that payment or do enough work with them, they will leave you. I think that would make sense. I don't know if I like the scripted death, like Kay's, for instance. I didn't have an issue with that because I S-ranked with Kay's almost immediately, so I always thought that was just a spouse cutscene. I think the only reason I don't like those is because some people will not understand the story value of a character or not like or bond with the character as well. So let's just say you don't like K's. whether you are glad to have him gone or not, you don't know about that until later. So, again, I don't need a big billboard saying, hey, you're going to lose this character in the next 2 chapters. You better have tea with them so many times. Like, I think not bonding with characters enough would probably be my least favorite one. And whether they leave or die or whatever, it'd be interesting if they turned against you. But I don't, with a large roster like Fates, where there's like 62 people, or even a smaller roster like in Engage, I do not have time to bond with like 30 plus people and get all to like B plus. I don't have time for that. And especially for people who don't play with like the extra epilogues and side missions and like little chapters that you can go out and train, that's going to be almost impossible. And I guess that's part of the replay value. But some people don't want to go all the way back to the beginning just to bond with some random axe unit because they want to get the complete story or something. And it's even more pointless if they don't use the axe unit. So I think forced bonding is probably my least favorite one. Let's see. Armando Ocampo, 5140. Okay. The equation 241 squared plus 25, is that a minus 47 equals 8x minus 3, which is crossed out, 53. Ax minus 2. Ax minus 2 is true for all the values of x. Where is a constant? What is the value of a? I don't think there's an a in here. I actually have no idea because I dropped out of, I stopped taking math in 10th grade because that's all I needed to do in order to graduate. So I didn't take geometry. Well, geometry is the reason, what is that? No, sorry. Geometry is the reason I didn't drop out. Geometry is the reason I stopped taking math in high school. And then in college, I took the same math class 2 or 3 times and failed, so I stopped doing that. So I don't think I've ever done a constant before. It sounds vaguely familiar. I do not have... I'm going to try to write it out on this eeny weeny piece of paper. Hold on. Anywhere there's an X. There's only one X. So 241 squared plus. I don't know what this 53 is attached to. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even try to solve this because I don't know what this means.
2 very boring minutes later.
I'm going to do this thing that I did in high school and say that 16 is closest to 57.5 because I don't know what a constant is and I don't want to look it up right now because I don't want to bore you guys with that. But I will post the original problem below, and if you guys can understand it or get it, let me know because I'm not good at math. Okay. The next one is from Ansel_G. Least favorite Fire Emblem character. Okay, so in general, there's like usefulness, personality, or like outfit. I did actually have this down for a future video idea, is least favorite characters. So maybe minor spoilers. I'm just going to look at that. Let's see. Okay, so my least favorite character on here is Tharja from Fire Emblem Awakening or Rajat. I'm not picky. I just don't like them. Tharja is stalkerish, she's abusive, she's manipulative, she's not good to her allies, she's very negative, and not in like a funny way, she's just very negative. I don't mind dark, brooding characters, that's fine, but she doesn't, every time she interacts with someone, it's to either harass them, curse them, or manipulate them. She does this to her own daughter too, like, she only doesn't want to do it to Robin, but she will play dirty to try to get Robin to notice her. So I just don't like that. Combat-wise, she sucks every single game I've had her in. She doesn't have enough HP or defense to survive compared to, say, Henry, who may not be the strongest of attacker compared to the two, but he's able to outlast almost everybody. Tharja's one I don't like. Same thing with Raja. She's pretty much the same thing. Rosie the Human, 88. Worst Fire Emblem teammates. Okay, so do you mean like the pair-up systems that you could do in Awakening and Fates? Or just do you mean anyone that you can recruit? So I'm going to take that as 2 separate ones. Worst Fire Emblem teammates that like pairing up, like on the handheld games. Frederick is someone I had trouble with. Again, I know he's Crom's retainer. He didn't do anything for me. He was all bark and no bite. I had to leave him behind so many times. I just left him as Crom's backup. He didn't do anything for me. Hinata is another one I had trouble with. Again, he and Caspar they're so energetic and they always are training, but it doesn't show. Ivy is another one. I don't know why. I think, at least in game, it would make sense that she'd throw herself in front of a bus to stop Illyr from getting hit, but I took so many punches to the face. At some point, it just didn't become funny anymore. Worst Fire Emblem teammates, and then characters I just don't like or understand why they joined. Charlotte from Fates, I know why she joined the Border Patrol or whatever, but there wasn't really I don't remember her reason for joining Corrin's army, because at that point you're usually invading Nor, and her job is to guard the border. Wouldn't you think she would get money for staying at her post and not abandoning for a place for an army that may or may not pay her? Again, I don't like Ilya from the Tellus games. Besides strategy wise, she just sucked. She's not loyal at all. She's kind of like a dog. Whoever feeds her, she'll hang out with. But then as soon as she sees a certain person, she just drops whatever it is and runs. Next one, rank the Fire Emblem Pro tags. Okay. I have a cheat sheet over here. Hold on. This was actually from a Fire Emblem calendar I had from a while ago, and those back there as well. I think they still update these, so if you're interested in getting one, I had a lot of cover artwork from different games. Definitely check it out. They might even update it for the new Fire Emblem game coming out, because I do notice we have an empty spot right here, which also probably could have gone to either Three Hopes or Engage, so definitely check this out if you're interested in it. I do actually use calendars. Anyways, I'm gonna take all of these as the protagonists. I'm not gonna count Avatar characters or other royals, so there's no Corrin or Diamant or anyone like that, or Zura. So
5 minutes later.
I'm going to include characters from games I have not played, and just based off of what information I know from what I've looked up, seen online, and from Heroes and Engage and Smash and whatever. So starting at the bottom, I'm probably going to say Erica, Ephraim, Sigurd, Salif, Leaf, Hector, Eliwood, Micaiah, Celica, From, Lynn, Edelgard, Claude, Lucina, Marth, Dimitri, and Ike. I don't think that lines up with the top characters list that I've done before, but again, I scribbled it on a Post-it, so that just shows you. Again, I didn't want to keep you guys hostage here for like 6 hours. And last question from Rosie. Who is the best FMAB character, and why is it Captain Buccaneer? Best FMAB character. Okay, so I don't think this list is out yet. I did a tier list for some of the videos for FMA month, so I actually don't remember who's on that top of that list, but I know Edward and Alphonse are on there. But if we can't put main characters, I put Roy and Hawkeye, and then for bad guys, Kimberly and Envy. But Buccaneer is pretty cool. He's one of those characters. He's like a tougher version of Armstrong. So every time he's on screen, you know, something is going to happen, whether it's something funny or an action scene or something like that. And I'm rewatching Brotherhood for the to try to bring Full Metal Mondays back. And I just love the energy that he and Olivier have. Like, there may not have been anything romantic between them, but they got along better than anyone else there. And I just really like that for them, because both of them seem like, obviously, socialization is not on the top of their list, but they work so well together. I can see them hanging out together outside of work. I would actually really, they had like these little OVA episodes that were like shorter than regular episodes. I would love to see how Olivier and Buccaneer met, and then you can throw Miles in there too. I'd be really curious to see how like that main trio met. Anyways, next question is going to be from Mr. Meteor 5064. Can't read. Top 5 units. So again, this is hard to like usefulness, personality, or like outfit. I have that as a video as well. That is posted. I will link that below. Let's see if I can find it. Top 10, top 5. Okay. I was like 10. Okay. Number 5, Shamir. 4, Kays. 3, Marth. 2, Dimitri. And then number 1 is Ike. Next one's from Renee Oxidine 137. Your thoughts on Fortune's Weaves. That is probably going to be another video that's going to be out soon for the channelversary if it's not already. So I'll try to summarize that and link it below when it comes out. Honestly, I'm very skeptical about this game. I personally was okay with just leaving it at 3 hopes as a fun little like fan fiction what if, let's just kind of play around a bit. Because it did expand on the characters we all know and love, and we got a little bit more about those who slither in the dark and Rhea and stuff like that. But I definitely really hope it's not a sequel, because I don't want to deal with the meltdown of, oh, but this isn't canon to Claude's route, or what if Edelgard didn't survive, or what if Rhea stays as the Archbishop. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I hope they treat this kind of like a Age of Calamity thing for Zelda, where it's a prequel and we get to see the Battle of the Red Canyon, we get to see Nemesis, or maybe the guy we're seeing in the beginning is the founder of those who slither in the dark. I don't know. From what Sothis says at the end, this looks like it's going to be a sequel. So I'm probably going to play it still. I just really don't want it to be a sequel. I'm not a fan of the art style. Like, it looks better than Engaged. That is definitely something I noticed. But I'm just tired of this like 2D, 3D animated look that we got starting all the way back in Awakening, but it really started to solidify itself in Fates, because that's the same art style that carried over into Heroes, and it looks good in Fates and in Heroes. But if we're continuing the same like blobby timeline, Feldland arc, whatever, I would like it to be done in the same 2D with some 3D aspects in there. Because we didn't get those crisp anime cutscenes in 3 Hopes, which is fine. But we kept the same art style, we kept the same actors, all the good stuff. So why are we going back to this? I know it's probably cheaper than hand drawing it or 2D animating it, but I'm not a fan of the 3D animation. Like, it has its place, and if you guys like it, that's completely fine. I also mentioned this is what's his, oh my gosh, Kai, I think his name is. I think he's the player character, and then I don't know if the girl next to him is like the female option, or if that's like a sister or like teacher or whoever. But both of these characters there's nothing necessarily wrong with them, but they're just so bright compared to everyone else. They look a little bit more like Pokemon characters. Again, I don't care if people have pink hair or blue hair or have 3 eyes, like, you do you, but with how, I guess, similar the color palette is for all these characters and even the background, these 2 characters stick out like a sore thumb. I don't know, there's just a border of I am the main character and look at me versus you can just kind of feel just by art style or how the character walks and talks that this is the main character, like Byleth. A little standouty, but again, not bad. Didn't have bright, booming colors, or Corrin, same thing. You could tell that she was the main character, but she didn't have neon green hair or something that just completely like broke the immersion, I guess. I don't know. I'll link the rest of that video below. Let's see. Emma Hearts 3. I have a question. Who is your favorite lord? Ike. Ike is my favorite one. I feel like I've done that a lot, but Ike is my favorite, and then subconsciously following the post-it mess. Okay, Crawling Lemur 37. Who's your favorite ships? Like, who your... Why can't I read today? Like, who your MC falls in love with. Okay. So, let's go backwards. I'm gonna just treat MC, or, falls in love with as basically whatever passes off as S rank. So, in Engage, it was Marin and Zelkov. In 3 Hopes, it was Dimitri, Yuritsa, and Shamir. In 3 Houses, it was Dimitri and Yuritsa. I didn't marry anyone on Silver Snow or Golden Wildfire, Cloud's Route. I'm forgetting the names. In Heroes is Reinhardt. In Fates, For a female run through, it was K's all the way through. For guys, it was Baruka for Conquest, I think, Rinka for Revelations, and Scarlet for Birthright. And then Awakening, it was Henry and Pan. And then I guess the precursor to this question, who are your favorite ships? Like, not including Avatar characters. My favorite ones, well, I guess there already were a couple, but Matilda and Clive, Ryoma and Scarlet. I do like Ingrid and Ash because they have something in common. They both want to serve the kingdom. They both, again, Ingrid kind of takes a little time to explain and warm up, but they both support Dimitri. They both want to be knights, and they both love reading and like traveling and supporting their families. So I think that they actually, not even just as friends, but they could work as an S rank. But other like personal ships I have for different games, Marth and Lynn. I don't like Sheeta. I just feel like Martha and Lynn are both very steady and stable characters, and they both really love their family and their homelands or kingdoms or whatever you want to call it. And if they were together, Martha's really cautious, and I feel like Lynn would be the one to actually get him to take that metaphorical jump. Would be the solid but voice of reason. Sheeta has no voice of reason. It doesn't matter what she's doing. In the anime, she threw herself in front of 3 swords and she could have become a charcuterie board, and I would have been okay with that. I do not like her. I also really like Ike and Navarre, which is a weird pair, but they're both very dedicated to the sword. They don't put up with any nonsense. They don't want to deal with extra stuff. They just want to go on with their lives, and they fight, at least when in Heroes, I know it's not like the best like combat system, but Ike is the strength, Navarre is the speed. They both have a very fighting together, they would be able to cover what the other one doesn't have. So I think them together as sparring partners would be really interesting.
1 hour later.
That raw footage ended up being 45 minutes. I was expecting this to be like 10. Oh well, I don't mind answering questions. So on that note, if you guys have any more questions, be it Fire Emblem, Full Metal Alchemist, or anything else, just drop it down below. It may be part of the next Q&A if I do another one. But yeah, as for that, thank you again for this year. It's been an interesting one. I'm trying to branch out on some content. Like I said, I'm trying to bring back Full Metal Mondays. Mario is still being done, and then we're coming up on Zelda month, so I don't know. We'll see I'm just going to try to finish this year and not melt into a puddle. But until then, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good one. So if you guys are wondering where some of the snakes are, like, it's been a while since Petunia and Grey Mask and friends have been around. Last month or two, I've just been filming on the days where they've just eaten in the past 48 hours, and it's not usually recommended to hold snakes at 24 to 48 hours after they eat because the food might make a reappearance. And then currently, as of right now, we are upgrading all of the cages to bigger cages. So the cages are slotted in pretty tight, so I'm not able to access them freely right now. Hopefully soon we'll be able to fix that. But yeah, they're all doing good. They're all a little bit musty though because they're all sitting in their water bowls because it's hot. Let's see, anything else. I can't really think of anything else, so I think I'm just going to wrap this up here and try to go to bed early. Keyword try, because it's like 2:30 right now. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and just remember that ketchup was made to be a stomach medicine. I can't believe that was 45 minutes. I'm not going to make you guys sit through all of that. I'm going to try to knock that down as much as I can.